Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Gossips 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Los Angeles had a way of pretending everything was fine. Indeed, when secrets were about to explode, the sun still shone over the wind trees, the ocean still glistered in the distance, and the Spencer estate still stood altitudinous and proud on its precipice overlooking the Pacific. From the outside it looked like the perfect place for peace, wealth and family concinnity. But inside those walls, commodity was about to change everything. Luna Nozawa had spent the last many weeks trying to rebuild her life. After all the falsehoods, the secrets, and the emotional chaos girding her history, she was eventually starting to feel like she belonged nearly. Working at Forrester Creations had given her confidence. Her growing connection with RJ had given her stopgap. And the Spencer family, in their own complicated way, had started to accept her as part of their extended world. Or at least that's what Luna allowed. She had no idea that a single knock on the door would shatter everything she believed about her life, her family, and her identity. A knock that changed everything. The autumn was quiet at the Spencer manse. Bill was in his office buried in paperwork. Katie was in the living room, scrolling through her phone. Will was upstairs pretending to study but actually watching sports highlights. Luna sat on the edge of the settee, nervously wriggling with the swatch of her bag. She had come over to talk to Katie about a forthcoming charity event, but commodity in the air felt strange. Nearly heavy. Also came the knock. It was end critical. It was end dramatic. Just 3 establishment, confident gates against the massive rustic door. Katie looked up. Were we awaiting someone? She asked. Luna shook her head. Not that I know of. Will came down the stairs curious. Perhaps it's another delivery for Dad, he said. The char opened the door. And that's when the world stopped. Standing in the doorway was a youthful woman who looked exactly like Luna. Same dark hair. Same soft features. Same suggestive eyes. The only difference was her posture. This woman stood high, firmer, like someone who had walked through storms and survived every one of them. For a moment no bone spoke. Katie's phone slipped from her hand. Will's jaw dropped. And Luna felt the blood drain from her face. That's me. Luna stood sluggishly, her heart pounding so hard she could hear it in her cognizance. No, she rumored. This isn't real. The woman at the door smiled gently. Hi Luna, she said. It's been a long time. The room erupted in chaos. Katie rushed forward. Who are you? She demanded. Why do you look exactly like her? We'll refocus between them. Okay, this is officially the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Luna stepped closer, her hands shaking. You see ain't be then, she said. You do ain't live. The woman's smile faded. I live, Luna. I always have. Bill surfaced from his office, formerly irked. What's all the commotion of? He's the pedmit sentence. His eyes locked onto the woman in the doorway, also shifted to Luna, also back again. Well, I'll be damned, Bill murmured. Did someone reduplicate her? The woman took a deep breath. My name is Lyra Nozawa, she said. And I'm Luna's binary family. The silence that followed was blaring. The truth comes out. Luna felt like the bottom had faded beneath her bases. No, she said again, louder this time. I do ain't have a binary. My mama no way told me. I would have known. Lyra's eyes filled with emotion. Your mama didn't tell you because she was trying to cover us. Katie crossed her arms. Cover you from what exactly? Lyra stepped outside, her aspect no way leaving Luna. From our father. The name alone made Luna tense. Don't say his name, Luna advised. Lyra jounced. I wa'n't. But the verity is, when we were babies he was dangerous. Our mama had to make an insolvable choice. She resolve us up. Will lowered. Split you up? Like one sprat then, one sprat there? Yes, Lyra said vocally. Luna stayed with our mama. I was transferred down to live with cousins overseas. Luna felt gashes soak her eyes. You're lying. My whole life was only half the story, Lyra finished. Bill rubbed his chin. So you just show up out of nowhere and anticipate us to believe this? Lyra reached into her bag and pulled out a worn envelope. DNA results. sanitarium records, birth instruments, everything. Katie took the papers, surveying them snappily. Her expression shifted from dubitation to shock. "Oh my God," she rumored. "It's real." Luna breaks down. The room started spinning for Luna. A family. A binary. A whole other life she no way knew about. "You left me," Luna cried. "You lived your life while I plotted to survive." Lyra stepped closer. "I didn't leave you. I was taken." Her voice cracked. "I grew up wondering about you every single day. Wondering if you were safe. Wondering if you abominated me." Luna's wrathfulness melted into confusion. "Why now?" she asked. "Why come then now?" Lyra dithered. "Because our father is dead." The words hit like a thunderbolt. "He can't hurt us presently," Lyra continued. "And I eventually felt safe enough to find you." Gashes streamed down Luna's face. "You should have been then," she rumored. "When everything fell piecemeal. When I felt alone." Lyra pulled her into a clinch. "I'm then now," she said. For the first time in her life, Luna felt what it was like to be truly understood. The Spencer family reacts. Bill watched the emotional reunion precisely. "All right," he said. "So what's your plan, Lyra? You then for a visit? Or are you planning to stay?" Lyra looked around the massive living room. "I came to make a relationship with my family. Whatever that takes." Katie softened. "Still also your hello then. If your family." Will beamed. "Guess we've got double the drama now." Luna managed a small laugh through her gashes. But deep down, she knew this wasn't just a sweet reunion. This was the morning of commodity much bigger. Forrester Creations shockwaves. News traveled presto in Los Angeles. By the coming day, everyone at Forrester Creations was brooding. There are two Lunas? Is one of them evil? Are they switching places? RJ stood frozen when he saw Lyra standing next to Luna in the design office. "Whoa," he said. "Am I hallucinating?" Luna smiled nervously. "RJ, this is my binary family." Lyra gestured. "Hi." RJ's mind exploded. "You're serious?" "Unfortunately, yes," Luna said. Brooke leaned in. "This is like a cleaner pieces inside a cleaner pieces." Rich crossed his arms. "Let's just hope this doesn't turn into a mess." But messes were exactly what the Forrester macrocosm specialized in. Different lives, same face. As the days passed, it came clear that Luna and Lyra were veritably different people. Luna was gentle, emotional, and conservative. Lyra was bold, confident, and unafraid to speak her mind. She challenged people. She asked uncomfortable questions. She wasn't impressed by wealth or status. When Bill tried to blackjack her, she stood her ground. When Rich tested her fidelity, she goggled him down. And when someone tried to discourteousness Luna, Lyra stepped by without vacillation. "You mess with her," she said formally. "You mess with me." Luna had no way had anyone defend her like that ahead. Secrets resurface. But Lyra didn't come to LA only for family. She had questions. Questions about their father's heritage. Questions about retired plutocrat. Questions about untreated business. One night Luna brazened her. "You're not just then for me," Luna said. "What aren't you telling me?" Lyra soughed. "Our father had adversaries," she admitted. "And some of them are still in this megacity." Luna's eyes widened. "You're saying peril followed you then?" "Yes," Lyra said. "But I wouldn't let anything be to you." For the first time Luna realized that her history wasn't over. It was just getting started. The shocking twist. Weeks laterally, a mysterious figure watched the Spencer manse from a distance. He lowered his binoculars and smiled. "So," he murmured. The other binary eventually showed up. The war for the Nozawa heritage had begun. Final words. Luna's world would no way be the same again. She wasn't just someone's son. She wasn't just a floundering intern. She wasn't just a survivor. She was a binary. And with Lyra by her side, the future promised peril, drama, and indelible twists. Because in Los Angeles, no secret stays buried ever. The appearance of Luna Nozawa's binary family didn't simply surprise the Spencer menage. It reshaped the emotional climate of everyone connected to them. Los Angeles, a megacity erected on reinvention and hidden histories, had just witnessed another chapter of its endless cycle of secrets coming to the face. For Luna, the days following Lyra's appearance felt fantastic. Every glass came a memorial that another interpretation of herself was in the world. Someone who participated her face but not her life. Someone who had grown up with different rules, different fears, and a different understanding of survival. While Luna had learned to navigate rejection, confusion, and emotional insecurity, Lyra carried herself with confidence. Her posture reflected times of tone reliance. Her eyes revealed caution, but also determination. She wasn't bullied by wealth, power, or the complicated social scale of Los Angeles. The Spencer family snappily realized that Lyra wasn't a temporary guest. She was then to stay, and her presence came with unanswered questions. Bill Spencer, a man who flattered himself on controlling every situation, set up himself unsettled. For formerly, he couldn't prognosticate the outgrowth. He'd seen family drama, treason, indeed felonious chaos. But two identical women with a participated history and unknown intentions were end commodity he could fluently manage. Katie, on the other hand, responded with empathy. She honored the emotional damage that secretiveness could beget. She saw Luna's confusion, her pain, and her struggle to reuse a continuance of half-trueness. The idea that a mama had been forced to separate her children was heartbreaking, but also accessible in a world where survival occasionally demanded insolvable choices. Will, still youthful but perceptive, viewed the situation through a different lens. To him, it felt like commodities straight out of a dramatic series. Halves, hidden histories, and mysterious motives were instigative on the face, but he also tasted the emotional weight behind it all. At Forrester Creations, the shockwaves were immediate. Luna had formerly plotted to establish her identity in a competitive terrain dominated by important families and long-standing battles. Now the actuality of a twin added another subcast of complexity. Workers rumored. Some questioned whether Lyra was a trouble. Others suspected about secret dockets. Many wondered if Luna herself had known further than she claimed. In Los Angeles, appearances signified, but stories signified more. Luna tried to maintain focus on her work, but her attention slipped. Every design sketch, every meeting, every casual discussion felt different now. She was no longer just Luna. She was one half of commodity, larger commodity untreated. Lyra, meanwhile, wasted no time integrating herself into the megacity. She explored the fashion quarter, visited literal milestones, and observed the power structures that shaped elite society. She studied the Forresters, the Spencers, and the implied rules that governed their relations. She noticed how influence flowed still through connections rather than public displays. She saw how fidelity was frequently tentative, and she honored that secrets were currency in Los Angeles. Unlike Luna, who sought belonging, Lyra sought understanding. She wanted to know who truly held power, who could be trusted, and who might still pose a trouble. The halves' different personalities began to surface more easily as time passed. Luna remained emotionally driven, sensitive to rejection and blessing. She wanted peace, stability, and connection. Lyra still operated from a place of strategy. She had learned that survival needed mindfulness, caution, and occasionally battle. This discrepancy didn't produce conflict between them. Rather, it strengthened their bond. Luna set up comfort in Lyra's confidence. Lyra set up purpose in guarding Luna's vulnerability. For the first time, Luna felt like she wasn't facing the world alone. But the history wasn't finished with them. Rumors about their father's history began to resurface. Old fiscal records suggested at undetermined controversies. Names connected to long-forgotten business gambles appeared in private databases, and certain individualities formerly allowed to be inapplicable started paying attention to the have's presence in Los Angeles. Some watched from a distance. Others delved still. Many set for battle. The Nozawa heritage was far more complicated than either family had realized. While Luna tried to move forward emotionally, Lyra worked behind the scenes. She requested access to archived records. She traced fiscal trails. She linked patterns in old legal controversies that suggested untreated business. She knew that their father hadn't only left behind emotional damage, but also important adversaries. One name appeared further than formerly. A former business associate who had faded times before after a major fiscal collapse. The man had lost everything. His company, his character, his family, and he criticized the Nozawa heritage for it. Now that man was watching the halves from the Merc. Back at the Spencer estate, the family dynamic shifted subtly. Luna was treated with further care. People honored her emotional vulnerability and tried to offer support. Indeed, if they didn't completely understand her experience. Lyra still remained a stranger. She was admired but not yet trusted. Trust in Los Angeles was commodity earned sluggishly and tested frequently. Lyra noticed the way Bill Spencer observed her. He measured her movements, her tone, her responses. He was trying to determine whether she was a trouble or an asset. Lyra remained calm, no way revealing further than necessary. She understood important men like Bill. She had encountered analogous personalities throughout her life. People who believed control equaled safety. People who saw connections as strategic advantages. Lyra didn't sweat them. She studied them. Luna still plotted emotionally. Discovering she had a binary brought joy, but it also restarted injuries she had healed. The feeling of abandonment resurfaced. The idea that someone differently had lived a resemblant life without her created an pang she couldn't fluently explain. She questioned her mama's opinions. She questioned her own identity. And occasionally, she questioned whether she truly belonged in Los Angeles at all. Yet, every time mistrustfulness crept by, Lyra's presence reminded her that family wasn't just about history. It was about support. The sisters began to partake stories of their springtime. Luna spoke about insecurity, emotional confusion, and the constant hunt for acceptance. Lyra participated stories of strict guardians, emotional distance, and the pressure to grow up snappily. Neither life had been easy. They were simply delicate in different ways. The deeper they connected, the further they realized how important had been taken from them. Times of participated jests, inside jokes, and emotional support were lost to secretiveness. But rather of dwelling on what they missed, they concentrated on what they could make. Still Peril dallied. The mysterious bystander continued his surveillance. He proved their movements, their connections, and their vulnerabilities. He knew that targeting Luna would provoke Lyra. And he knew that exploiting their bond could be the key to his vengeance. He believed the Nozawa family owed him everything he'd lost. As pressure still rose, Forrester Creations came an unanticipated battlefield. Business deals linked to the Nozawa name resurfaced. Old contracts were reviewed. Investors began asking questions. The history was impacting the present in ways no bone had anticipated. Rich Forrester, ever defensive of his company's image, covered the situation nearly. He understood that family dishonors could damage business reports. The idea of retired halves and undetermined conflicts made him uneasy. Brooke still saw commodity differently. She saw a story of adaptability. Two women, separated by circumstance, reunited by fate. She respected their strength and encouraged Luna to embrace her full identity. Steffi, more realistic, remained conservative. She had learned that surprises frequently came with consequences. She watched Lyra precisely, staying to see whether her presence would bring stability or chaos. As weeks passed, the halves settled into a meter. Luna continued working at Forrester Creations. Lyra explored openings in Los Angeles, using her sharp instincts to navigate the megacity's complex social network. She met influential numbers. She observed power dynamics. And she still gathered information. The sisters came known as a unit. Where Luna went, Lyra frequently followed. Their accompanied presence came emblematic of strength and consanity. But not everyone viewed it appreciatively. Some saw competition. Some saw trouble. Some saw occasion. One night, Luna began noticing strange patterns. Strange buses situated near the Spencer estate. Anonymous dispatches intimating at peril. Subtle warnings hidden within casual relations. Lyra took these signs seriously. She honored the early stages of surveillance. She had lived through analogous situations before. She knew that when people started watching, battle was no way far before. Rather than fear, she prepared. She corroborated security routines. She proved suspicious exertion. And she assured Luna was no way alone in vulnerable situations. The sisters were no longer just reuniting. They were defending their future. Meanwhile, the man from the Merc grew intolerant. He believed the Nozawa halves had inherited everything he lost. In his mind, they represented injustice. Their happiness felt like impersonality to his suffering. He began planning his coming move. The thing wasn't just vengeance. It was control. He wanted the Nozawa name to fall. Ignorant of the specific trouble, Luna